Well, Madam Chairman, first of all, thank you for holding this hearing. I sit on the Intelligence Committee also, and after all the testimony I hear there, I'm convinced that the next major event in America is going to be a cyber event. Obviously, we're always vulnerable, or not vulnerable, but at risk for some type of kinetic attack, but I'm convinced that the next major one that affects a large numbers of people is going to be cybersecurity. So it's important that we do talk about this and continue to work at it, because from everything we're told, we're running fast, but need to run faster to catch up to where we need to be. Mr. Bachman, thank you for coming from Idaho to testify today. The members of this committee grow weary of me over the years explaining to them how important the INL is to and being the lead lab for nuclear energy. And now, of course, we're developing our expertise on cyber security and becoming a lead, if not the lead. Could you tell my fellow members here the unique capabilities that our lab has as far as moving into that position?
Sure. Thanks, Senator. Thanks. Thanks, Senator Risch. Sure, you bet. Idaho National Lab, without to make too much of it, is
no, go ahead and make
a national, I think it's a softball, is the nation's nuclear energy lab, where nuclear energy has been developed. I think 52 test reactors with a small modular reactor on the way.
And the first one, of course.
I think people there figured out that it was probably a better idea to monitor and control those somewhat dangerous processes from a comfortable distance, and therefore they were highly incented to create control systems that would allow them to do that. Hence, early control systems theory and practical engineering knowledge developed ahead of the curve there in Idaho. When cybersecurity started to become on people's minds, certainly it landed in the IT universe first, but very quickly the Idaho folks realized that the same basic types of systems that help run banks and retail stores, et cetera, are also at the heart. They're both at the heart of control systems operations, industrial control systems, and they're also next door neighbors to them. As utilities, all are businesses and have IT organizations. And with convergence, we used to talk about convergence of information technology and operational technology as something that was coming that we needed to prepare for. The most recent SANS Industrial Control Systems Conference in Florida 2 weeks ago, we all admitted, this group of subject matter experts, that it's happened, that these two parts are now inextricably fused, and that's one of the ways adversaries can get in. So Idaho is a great testing ground with that experience and also with its facilities. It has a test grid that has both transmission and a variety of distribution voltage assets, substations, transformers, control centers, and linemen, and it's integrated into the larger regional grid in a way that makes it, I'll say it this way, while we use models a lot and have to use models for a grid that's becoming ever more complex and get a handle on the types of risks that are there, every once in a while, maybe more than every once in a while, it behooves us to validate the models with real-world testing. And it's been several times now in my short time there where we've run real-world tests that have shown that the models we rely on so much and trust weren't quite right and need to be tweaked and tuned. And once you do that, then you can have confidence in them again.
Could you talk just briefly about the test bed that we have there for doing that?
Yeah, well, this is the, there's both the grid assets I described. There's also communications test bed assets, so you can have both, everyone knows a full electric and or natural gas operation requires copious communications assets. Those also subject to cyber attack, and just as disruptive if you aim at them as if you aim at the actual industrial control systems that they support. It's also the home of a program where in the past industrial control system suppliers sent equipment and the security subject matter experts did exhaustive security assessments of it, both at the hardware, software, and firmware level in conjunction with the suppliers to give them feedback on how they might harden and build more secure systems in the future. In my testimony, there's a call now from the Section 9 utilities to, in some form, bring about a modernized version that fits the purposes of the industrial Internet of Things and world in which we live in. And so I'll stop there.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bachman. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Manchin.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And